Well, hello everyone, welcome to another episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one because I've heard from a lot of you that you're feeling discouraged because things didn't really pan out at the end of the season like you expected. And I'm here to tell you that that's not uncommon for me either. And so in this episode, I'm going to talk about kind of pushing the boundaries of your garden and really setting your expectations very, very low so that you're impressed when things go right, but not disappointed when things go wrong. All right, so before we get into some of the successes and failures of me pushing the limits of my garden this year, I wanted to touch on why I like to push the limits of my garden. So the first reason is because I really want to show you what's possible. I don't have to necessarily get every last tomato or pepper out of my garden. I don't need to get twice the amount of zucchinis that I can consume in the course of a season, but I like to show you what's possible because from a teaching and motivation perspective, it really kind of showcases what is possible for someone that might want that. So that's the first reason, is that obviously as a teacher and as a motivator, I want to show you guys what's possible. But the second reason is because of the fact that I like to be in my garden. And nearing the end of the season, when things are starting to die and dwindle down, it's not very fun to be in a garden that's basically empty. And so it's fun for me because I find a lot of joy in coming to a nice full garden. And so I push the limits of my garden with lots of different crops, not because I think they're all going to come to fruition, but if they do, I'll show that you can do it. It is possible. And then I also have beds that are full of plants that I like to look at. So two really important reasons why I personally like to push the limits of my garden. All right, so we're first going to start with a success because I think starting on a good note is a good way to start a video. And this is our zucchini. Now our zucchini by far exceeded my wildest expectations. I had no idea what I was going to get when I planted our zucchinis. Now I always plant a fall harvest of zucchini, and sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the season with things like powdery mildew. They're very prone to that. Now these plants are just starting to get powdery mildew, but that has not stopped them from producing just wild harvests of zucchini. Now we started these zucchini from seed directly in our garden, and we started them right around the first or second week in August. And they have just produced and produced and produced. So when it comes to these zucchinis, these things have just produced and produced and produced. This is just from today. We got about the same amount about 3 days ago, and about the same amount I think about 5 days ago. It's been about this much every other day. It's just incredible. And there's only 5 plants here. And this was something that I wanted to showcase you guys because I had so many people that said, there's no way you can plant a fall harvest of zucchini. They're gonna get diseased, they're gonna get pest ridden, they're just not going to survive. And I said, you know what? I think you're wrong. Not that it'd be wrong if you're wrong. I've been wrong in the past. They sometimes don't produce anything, but it was worth throwing them in here because now I'm producing tons and tons of zucchini that I wouldn't otherwise have because my other zucchini plants are basically on the way out. All right, the second crop that I absolutely love to plant in my garden to kind of push the limits and extend my summer harvest are tomatoes. Now, not all tomatoes are going to be good for kind of pushing the limits of your garden. I prefer things like cherry tomatoes and paste tomatoes. The reason being is they mature really quickly and they ripen really quickly, so I can get them off the plant before the first frost comes. Now, the reason why I do that is because, you know, when it comes time to actually getting a harvest, sometimes getting a harvest is better than getting an ideal harvest. I know some of you look for, you know, the most incredible giant paste tomatoes you can get your hands on. These are Federally, and they're awesome. I love them, by the way. But I wouldn't, these are actually from our summer garden. I would not plant these for a fall garden. Yes, they are a paste tomato, but I would prefer to plant something more like Aroma, or in our case, we planted some sweetie cherry tomatoes for our fall harvest because of the fact that they are gonna mature way faster than a giant tomato. Ideally, I'd love to have a bunch of these, trust me. But it doesn't always work out that way because ideally I don't have enough time to grow these. That would be such a foolish endeavor because I would end up with a bunch of green tomatoes at the first frost. So I'd much rather end up with a few pounds of beautiful fresh cherry tomatoes than nothing at all. And so I just kind of change my expectations in accordance to my reality, which is that I can't grow every type of tomato, but I can grow some types of tomato, and that allows me to have beautiful fresh plants going right into fall. All right, now one that I love to plant in our fall garden, but is a huge hit or miss, is cucumbers. Now these are smaller, these are a bush variety of cucumber known as Space Master 80. I love them for growing in ground, in raised beds like this, because you'll notice we don't have a trellis. So I don't want them getting all crazy and tangled up with all my other plants. I want them staying nice and compact. So these are Space Master 80s. They're like a little miniature cucumber, awesome variety, especially if you're growing in containers, by the way, give it a shot. But this variety of cucumber is smaller. It produces fruit a lot faster. So I usually throw this variety in to my fall garden. But as it stands this year, I don't know if we're gonna get anything. And that's okay by me, because the thing is I don't have a crystal ball. And if you do have one, please tell me what I should be planting and when I should be planting it, because I don't have one. And so that's why I throw them in the garden, because if I do get a cucumber or even a couple of cucumbers, that's fantastic. It's one of my all-time favorite snacks in the garden. And so I'm gonna throw, 6 plants in and kind of give it a little shot. But it doesn't always happen, doesn't always come to fruition. And you don't need to beat yourself up over that, because this is a crop that I would consider kind of a high risk, high reward crop for fall gardening. It's a very high risk, high reward, because they're very prone to things like powdery mildew. They're very prone to things like the cucumber beetles, which come in. That's the little marks you can see on these leaves over here. And so the cucumber beetles kind of come in late fall when the plants are stressed. They get powdery mildew. They also don't produce as much fruit when the nights are cold. So the odds are stacked against them. But again, we might have a warm spell. They might start growing. They might start producing, and that's a bonus for me. So high risk, high reward. But we always throw some cucumbers in to really kind of push the limits of our fall garden. Now this one was a trial this year for the first time ever. I have not ever grown fall okra before, and I'll be honest, it was a dismal failure. But it was not a failure in the sense that it's beautiful. I love coming out here to look at this plant, or these plants, I should say. They're so fun to look at. They're really beautiful, and they take up a nice amount of this bed that would otherwise be taken up with things like weeds. They're helping to shade out the soil, which is good for me, because ultimately I'd rather grow a vegetable, even if it doesn't come to fruition, than I would rather grow weeds. So there's always kind of a silver lining, but in terms of production, this one has been a bit of a dismal failure for me. They were started just way too late into the season. They really did not, they didn't really even have any bit of a fighting chance. That's why they're very, very pest ridden. A lot of the grasshoppers have actually come in here and just annihilated. They love okra for some reason. The grasshoppers love the okra. And on top of that, the cool nights have led to a lot of stress, and that's where you're seeing some of these yellow leaves. There's lots of nutrients in the soil, but the thing is, the cold nights tend to really shut the plant down, and that's the plant saying, even if I had all the nutrients I could, or I needed to grow, I wouldn't want to, because I'm preparing to die. So these plants are just not going to produce. It will be such a miracle if we even get a couple pods of okra off here. I'm not pulling them out, because obviously the season's not over, but this is one that I ideally should have planted probably, I would say, at least 3 weeks sooner than I did. We planted these at the middle part of August. I probably should have planted them at like the middle part of July for ideal results for a fall harvest. So would I do it again? Absolutely, but I would just do it way sooner, because the cool weather definitely was not ideal. All right, now we're gonna finish up with one of my favorite crops to push the limits of my garden with, and that is beans. Now these in particular are pole beans. They're a yard-long variety. They're known as red noodle. Now I grow any type of bean. I'll grow bush beans like Blue Lake or Strike or Provider, some of my favorites. I'll also grow drying beans like Good Mother Stallard, your black beans, your red kidney beans. I love beans in the fall. They're such a fun crop to grow, and because they mature and grow so fast, and because they give nitrogen back to the soil, and because I got nothing else to grow on my trellises usually, they're a wonderful crop to take up that space. And I get so many people that say, I could never see myself planting beans in the fall. It just seems like a summer crop. It does well in the spring, late spring. It does well in the summer. It does well in the fall. It is such a versatile crop when you really start to grow them. And the amount of beans we're gonna get on these plants, because they're already loaded with flowers, once these start producing, we're gonna be getting tons of harvest from these plants. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 10 bean plants. We're gonna be ending up with so many of these red noodle beans, it's gonna be nuts. Now, I know what you're probably saying. Luke, my summer bean harvest was insane. I'm sick and tired of picking beans. I let my beans go. I have no desire to have I have no desire to have beans in my fall garden. And for you, that's great. That's awesome. The rabbits annihilated my summer harvest of beans, so I didn't get any. That's why I have a fall harvest of beans. So it's really just different. It's different for everybody. And some people, they don't have time to plant a garden in the summer, but maybe they moved and now they have time to plant a fall garden, right? It's just about opening up those possibilities that if you want to get something out of your garden, it just goes to show that you can do it and it is possible. And so these are just some of the crops that I use to kind of showcase what's possible in a fall garden. You obviously have some of the obvious ones that I'm not going to talk about, but I will touch on things like beets, arugula, Swiss chard, kale, spinach, lettuce, carrots, radishes. Those are all crops that are givens. Those are crops that, we're going to touch on crops you can be planting for fall, like safe crops you can be planting. That's for another episode. But these are crops that I want to see you open up your mind to the potential to, because it doesn't have to be just a few beds that are planted, like 25% of your garden planted with just leafy green crops. That's super boring, super, super boring. And if you are a boring person, that's fine too. That's fine too. But I just love the different diversities, colors, textures of a garden. And so I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Let me know in the comments box down below what you're growing in your fall garden. And yeah, we'll catch you guys all on the next episode. All right, grow bigger. Bye.